Aside for Dr. Kwame Nkrumah no. Now, Nsromma, you come home very quick. Now, you're political historian. Your friend, Opani Emmanuel Mensah Buama. Now, Edian don't know how the friend is lion. Now, Wakadare will be semu and Yamanyo semu pa. Now, Asma Bibu Sani very simple. Edian Tina Oko Gabon, and Asa Oko Niger, and Asa Oko some of the West African countries here, Omaya Kunwa. The citizenry, and I say, Oman for and Casanomania J.
87.9.
I'm the political class in Omusu. I don't think I can say. My wife didn't know her. Open name Moko Baba come FM 87.9.
Yeah, near me.
Now, in Pombo Cordier. Good. And I know, we are really privileged saying now what we've been so now, and common is very simple. Yeah, share about Africa and the colonial powers. Now, ya say I will say, who shall be Mamu has here? It seems that you were Japadia me brave. Abrofoba Chroma no Mubusas intimo Chroma Hana Mumponim for free habaja besia way. If the Omanic free hand come mobesia or Massa see should die. Now, so Africa, ya ho chri and I'm say, ya Japadia Nakodia won't say. First of all, I didn't know omo Gabon and Niger omani aje say ye two oma banyagu.
Okay. Well then that's it. Allora, the kind of coup na see war in Sahel no so no from Niger, Mali, Burkina Faso, Guinea, Chad, so I almost the Sudan after Omokono. It's pretty much different kakra or the SO Gabon Siciano.
Okay.
But and so on. Niger, Burkina Faso, and Mali, Sicily, and even Guinea. Omapa my friends want to free. Omukrom has Omonko. Nigeria or France want to Omonko. And the target of Saku no say they don't want the French dominance in their country anymore. Because I say Omoti assassin so show so much French for no. The DNU assassin so benefit woman. That is rather benefiting the colonial master.
Wow.
This is since the independence, and they are fed up.
No, okay, say they are benefiting from the colonial master and they benefit here. What you say?
But resources so as you know, never.
Yeah, resources will be a African country, no, so no.
Yes.
Wow.
Because almost 30 years, they took the human resources during the slave trade, and on the America, so called develop America. Into time and it was not a result of an internal struggle of those countries. Yamvan is the only country actually struggle it's independence kakra because you're in Ghana. After Sajina Jitemu free Second World War by issues people arise and we push them to leave. But also France Africa, they actually never had an independence. They were freed because at that time, not John Kennedy was White House and the pressure to France and Britain to move free colonies, because the Soviet Union was gaining terrain in Africa. And they were campaigning on the fact that the Western Bloc came to colonize them and they were stealing their resources. And that thing was gaining popularity. And then Patrick Lumumba started to say they were communists. Kwame Nkrumah joining the trail, and communism was getting popular in Africa. And Kennedy, Frere, Macmillan were lending, and afraid the goal of France said they should free the colonies. In the 1960s, independence. That was not actually an independence. It was the continuation of the France Afrique. Okay, we are taking the white face away and putting a black face there to serve our own interests. And that is what happened. Into every year, they were all going to the Élysée to account for how they were governing. So priority was given to the French interest and the French companies in Africa. It's independent president here, but two things are here. The interest of the colonial masters and on one
let's say Ivory Coast and I say let's say Niger and Gabon. Omo atuaba ayi omo man pani de. Nanso said dey be yanka bia omo man pani be hwe omo fo ni yie yo no. Omo hwehwe omo family ni yie yo ane France for aban yie yo, not the people of the country, right?
Yes, they were forced to do that because one year they were free ho. And the omo yo omo jones ombe ye France penny there. So transfer 200 years crime for omo. democracy there.
Wow.
But the Obayan Agent said no, he will take care of his own people. The democracy Baba had Agent say any free.
Not just said the Obayan Agent said the Abrafone can won't see no more about so many man for you know. In a free war.
Exactly.
It has said you are on Bayaku at Tiana and I said you are on Babutu Akuno.
Yes. Because first of all, the country is compromised. Only culture, or the exploit or natural resources. Some Indian farmer, and Jesus or more neighbor. At the same time, so no, Okotna Comano so correct, Kada Hodada, Odo Omo Kansana, Oko president.
Wow.
So you're going to say, Omo line in the air, then they'll make sure they frustrate you. They will create an internal upheaval or react here. It's a human rights issue. Now, it happens to Thomas Sankara. That comes to recent memory of Burkina Faso. He was a military, all right, but he led the country in a more noble manner than any civilian government Burkina Faso has ever had. Now, Crofone Penasem, Oman Fone Penasem, but Omo Pekoni Su Yili. So, we have a bit to say Gabon. Mobutu, at a certain point, time or Tiaseno, Omo Coton crude oil now. 55% you are not in the Bussian for there, 20% there Gabon for Pedia. And he stayed there for over 30 years. And that was the continuation of the Nebano Sobaya or Sobade. And so also Gabon Kuda Kosuna, Omo attack French phone call. Omo complaining say the colonial masters France Omo. No, the coup is targeted as Ali Bongo Ba, no reason Bongo. And not General Usiano, si mandi almost so anything, no, attack no. Or see first of all, Ali Bongo yari on timi muma no. The bano, sign the signature no the iska free state coffee no. The bano and the drugs ebe kromo ho babeton. And the whole coup was aimed so the Ali Bongo free ho no e ni bano ni the busi and the but on one kasa mpokra Bongo for the cousin. He's a cousin to the Bongo family.
I see.
And he was there as the head of the presidential guard during the time of Omar Bongo.
Abibi Nsromma.
Omar Bongo, who yenu mama way by no, and he free in charge of the head of presidential guard, no, then call Morocco. It has and some kakra wo them. And another banner so cast over power on one man in your about the head of the presidential guard. And they are just replacing a Bongo with another Bongo. This whole opposition leader in Pokrana, or this Colonel Brice Nguemano, Lechino. Pascaline Bongo and a share children or children the onion, money. In actual fact, it is a fake coup d'etat, it's a palace coup d'etat. France in Canada on restore civilian leadership on Canada in Chireno, because their interest is still protected. If they are in Niger for the Domatomo no go thinking China, or restore democratic elected president, from one year their troops or restore. Nagabon the OBI. Because they see it as a mere palace coup. So their interest is still preserved.
So, say, Metewasiya, and I'm saying Niger for no. Oma Ayaku na Omo Emma France interest Emma Omo Ekrombi Munitino. Yes, say ECOWAS and Coho. Nemo Gabon dear. In as much as Sebia Omo Ayaku dear. Nanso still France, a Japadena Wohina, a woman 17 as a Obiadi.
Exactly. Because over Nigeria, they mean business. They are fed up. They want the people to be free. And it's going to bring a truly paradigm shift in the governance of the country. It is not true, say, sugar for Buma is the last 60 years, because also the Roman Republic and the wealth of Rome was made more when Rome was led by generals and army commanders. So Julius Caesar alone brought more wealth to Rome than any other civilian ruler who ruled Rome, even before or after the Republic.
Wow.
Okay. Abraham Lincoln, he was a soldier. He led the American Revolution. He led troops to the battlefield and was one of the most brilliant presidents the U.S. has ever had. And you know, Africa penny a baha, you catch it and say, who is soldier near to be Bumai. David and Yankupon Kurakachre and say, Odini my share in Sano. David was a warrior. Only Kukun Goriath, Oyobebu Israel to my ye. It has nothing to do with that analogy. Fine. Democracy. But what is a coup d'etat? So, a coup d'etat is the subversion of the will of the people. Okay, so sanity here. Over campaigning, my sending to Abanima. Now, over use your resources. No, the bear quiet over me, you might buy over me and what going. Now, but now, so we are now going to abuse your phone with this canal. Is it a coup d'etat? And as I know, your friend is in democracy. Is it not the same thing? But could it turn a buy or by force, Baba J to me, no, hear the open. Also, the front of Baba J also hear the open. Ning and I accommodate. So, what is actually the difference in it? And see, the problem about Africa is that we should try to understand our own problem and look for homemade solutions. Because Obiani we are here, sorry, no pass or say Africans, the Hobetoye. Head of state Biani we are here, also going to know the three. And say, yeah, that's to me, and Guinea Quay, Befaswa, you will improve your welfare there. And then check assassinate is to be free and sa. No, and yet, Dio. A man for being sassy through almost. So, America since I Europeans in the out. Australia, Aborigines of Korea, Pia Moko Reserve, baby. Now, see, I know you're referring to some Pacific. They want to give them their right. Okay. I had the country of food to me, I said the time on mobile, and I said they couldn't cope with the parasite, malaria, and asiphon. They didn't have the medicines for it. You know, but I see, I don't want to Democrat baby. It is almost the second coming back, almost my fire and I'm going as a cinema, but just as a
wow.
So we must sit up and know how we are going to exploit this land to our own benefit. But we are not even encouraging our young ones to think. Just a politician be here, they don't send him so be coca, like your friend or call that or go the politician, nothing. But no, we shouldn't do it. We should encourage those debates. Tadena Nipani and Yansen no be teacher no who know or raise now. Rather than say who know Nipan say Kwanu Tumuno. No, we should encourage him to come out. Now politician no sumra me here, the country or yeah, and Yansen also the woman. She come and explain it to us. And this is because of politicians, or yeah, there will be a kind of even a handful. Nananka also munyasa to me, because somebody fine. See, I am asking na first on the kasi kwa konkura no hina no bi ani mu bi. If you kuya hina nza ne din kugo. Yinku ya hina yebe kwa ko sise yebe din nkuni ana se yebe ka se eja ko no yensa nko back. Na politician dey na why ya e kire se this royal treatment dey osumu we nyana ma no. Dey na why ya dey abo ayen. Afro bu ho a so no ko politics ko na ehia no. Okomo no ko nyeska.
Abibi Nsromma.
The global family seek out a catcher and so ya the Yamis and Kamanun. They are very developed. Meanwhile, Susono, or more other countries, Europe and any other countries to develop, they challenge themselves to think.
I see.
I have you say you don't keep a vacuum, say me coup. Okay, the politician way and the government way and okay, what is the alternative? The criticism should be constructive, but once it is constructive, we should encourage it. To say that the Chrome had a catcher say a birth certificate is not a proof of citizenship. Yatiasio. Now then, our cat and natural, but I bet you see a man could be a content of course. But what is it? Wow. So are you encouraging your young men to be future leaders of this country? And I say you're encouraging them to be stupid by not asking questions among TFP.
Senior, yeah, come Infitiasiano, who can be said in as much as Abrofono and as a colonial masters in Omuniha. Or more MS sitting in as our presidents or as our ministers. Now, so on one a day, you're penning for before I see what, or because of more puppets. And then America, President Kasa, the president of Ghana or the president of Nigeria or any president in Africa, it doesn't know, sir.
Well, fine. There are so many reasons to that fact. Say, we don't have our own homemade policies to rule our own country. Other social probity say Russia and even all of continental Europe, they have their own history.
Abibi Nsromma.
Sure, to impose it upon them. Even look at their own constitution. Obia adapted constitution to his own needs. Rome was the first empire, Omukodu civil law, Omude Maraba, we are first law, but no beyond choice. Tamo Justiniano chose the first code of legal system, no? And yes, Rome the superpower of the time into impose European countries singing and so no. Omude Mao say, okay, this is the base. Study it and adapt it to your own needs. and govern the society that you are trying to forge. But your constitution, the separation of powers. So what was the genesis of the concept of the separation of powers? It started with the French Revolution, hadn't it? Because the king was an absolute. The OHENE-OBIBINII can be a yemra, and the citizens felt that it was not helping them. Even if it has helped them in the past, it is not helping them going forward. They will abolish it. Almost at least OHENE-OBIBINII negotiate, and then the revolution set in. And so and say, never again in the history of man should power should be concentrated in the hands of one person. So they wanted to make sure that that thing doesn't happen again in their lifetime, and they put it in their constitution. And after the American Revolution, almost no many British for no was and also adopted the same concept. But coming back to Africa, we do actually have a problem of a consolidation of powers. We never had it because we're having a system that was working perfectly before the Europeans arrived. Just think of this. As I'm saying, first they say, no, on any BBC na free more. That provision alone made say we don't have orphans in our society at that time. We didn't have it. The University of Timbuktu in Mali was so ahead of its time. They were even teaching oral hygiene at that time. Okay, but Sisiano, look at the separation of powers in our constitution.
Right.
What is it that we are trying to fight? So our constitution was supposed to start with the preamble, say, let us unite against poverty, hunger, and ignorance. And then we'll make it as our national agenda. No, it is nothing of that sort. You see, it's separating power. But we're separating power against whom? So we have a constitution that means nothing. So it doesn't lead us to anywhere. It is not part of our history. It is not preparing us for any future. Meanwhile, we have a problem like poverty, ignorance. Okay, if that was the pillars of our constitution, and let us work towards it. And the 60 years, every day we remind ourselves of our bit. But we are talking about separation of powers, and it's not even separated. Because right now we have the judiciary who was supposed to be independent, and we have the legislature who was supposed to be independent. But are we truly sure that they are independent, or they are all being controlled by the executive?
Wow. All right. Adeshimama, Samre, I think I will do a feeding to us here. High Akoma FM 87.9. And I remember that the very first Saturday of the month of September